I've studied the Enneagram about 8 years now. I remember a friend suggested that I read Type 4, the section on Type 4 in Wisdom of the Enneagram. And as I read that, I remember experiencing this sinking feeling in my heart, understanding and seeing that I was not the profound, unique, deep individual that I had been for this many years. And I realized that there were others like me and that this was more ego-driven than actually who I am. It was fascinating to me that the things that I valued most about myself, my sensitivity, my empathy, my insight, were described and detailed in those pages. It was eye-opening in the moment.
Your Enneagram type, in retrospect, did it manifest itself in your childhood?
It did. In looking back, I was a child in her own world, meaning that I lived in my imagination, play dresses, princesses, especially princesses. My mother, this was back in the 70s, and my mom had received this package of these long flowing nightgowns from my aunt that she no longer wanted, and they were all different colors, pink and green and blue, and I would make my little brothers dress up in these long gowns, and we would don towels for hair, and we would be princesses and these elaborate stories. So I was always in my imagination rather than in actually what was happening in real life. That's always been a place for me that is much more fun, much happier than real life.
The other thing I wanted to ask you about is, now that you're an adult, how do you use the Enneagram in your daily life?
Daily, I use the Enneagram in every interaction that I have with other people. The Enneagram has explained to me why people do the things that they do, why my way isn't the only way of seeing the world, and that allowing that for others has softened relationships in all areas. Just this past week, I was working with an individual who is a 6, and we were working on a project together, and immediately I could tell that she was looking for what was going to go wrong, what's going to be the consequence if we do this, if we choose this path. Here are the things, the obstacles that we need to be concerned about. And I was concerned about meaning, and is this going to be emotionally powerful and connecting? And those two actually butted heads a little bit. Her solutions weren't quite as, I guess, emotional or meaningful or beautiful, and it wasn't working. But understanding that she was coming from this place and I was coming from this place, we were able to work together. And that happens in my married life with my children, co-workers, even at the grocery store. So it's very powerful to understand who you are and who others around you are.
Yeah. And I understand that your husband and your 2 sons also know the Enneagram?
They do, and it's been hilarious having family dinners together just a while ago. My son, who is a 6, brought up the fact that his brother who is a 5, why does he talk so much, Mom? Why is he always telling us stuff that we don't know anything about? And I'm sure it was quantum physics or something. And my husband just held up, 5, because he's a type 5. And I said, well, Rye, why are you concerned about things? Why do you worry and think through things? And his brother held up 6. And then Ryan piped up and said, oh, I get it. Why is Dad angry all the time? And we said 8. And then I said, yeah, and that's why I'm always thinking and a little bit sad because I'm a 4. And so it's a simple way to explain differences between family members. And it allows each family member to have their own space, their own individual reaction, their own individual needs. And it's not a good, better, best. It's just who you are.
Allison, I don't think I could find a more beautiful description of the power of the Enneagram in family life. So thank you so much for your comments.
Sure.